Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, August 5. The Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Task Force, MOCA, and the JCF's Anti-Corruption Branch have been merged into a single agency to strengthen the fight against serious organized crime and corruption. The merger, which takes immediate effect, was announced Monday by National Security Minister Peter Bunting. He said it would target and bring to justice the kingpins of the criminal networks, as well as those who provide support to criminals and corrupt officials.
The new agency will give us greater reach and increase our capacity to carry out investigations on people of interest. This merger is intended to be an interim step in a longer-term plan to create a national law enforcement agency, which will be the subject of a future cabinet submission.
The newly merged entity is to be called the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, and Colonel D.T. Edwards is being seconded from the JDF to oversee and coordinate the merger. The National Security Ministry's Permanent Secretary will chair a steering committee that's to have oversight responsibility for the policy implementation of the agency. The island's agricultural sector has rebounded from the devastating effects of Hurricane Sandy in 2012, surpassing production levels prior to the hurricane. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller made that announcement at this weekend's Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show in Clarendon.
The sector grew by 20% in the first quarter of 2014 and by a further 9.1% in the second quarter despite the prevailing drought.
The Prime Minister attributed the increased production levels to the $5 billion irrigation infrastructure system the government installed across the island. Meanwhile, Acting Agriculture Minister Derek Kelly says there's no plan to increase Jamaica's food importation in response to the continued drought. He says government's focus instead is to help local farmers meet consumers' needs.
Because once you start getting into importation, you're going to create some other types of problem for the farmers. And I know the farmers are not anxious about importation. So at this point in time, we are doing what we can to encourage them to use small irrigation systems to help them to get back on track as quickly as possible.
And the Acting Agriculture Minister says plans are far advanced to establish a PRAEDIal larceny unit in the ministry, as promised by Minister Roger Clark in his sectoral presentation.
And staff recruitment is now in progress. Drafting instructions for the amendments to the Agricultural Produce Act and the PRAEDIal Larceny Prevention Act will be forwarded to the Cabinet shortly for approval.
Those amendments will simplify procedures for licensing all players along the food supply chain and for imposing stiffer penalties on persons found criminally liable.
We continue to work with the police and urge farmers to play their part by getting registered with RADA, using their receipt books, getting their animals tagged for traceability, and encouraging their business associates and traders to get registered.
Another wonderful display of art and culture is being planned for this year's Grand Gala celebrations taking place at the National Stadium on Wednesday. Culture Minister Lisa Hanna says this year's gala will be more theatrical than those of the past, showcasing the beauty and uniqueness of the nation.
That will be a feature of the gala, looking at the Blue and Jonquera Mountains. We also have a part devoted to Marcus Garvey because of the UNIA. And we have, we have Marcia Griffiths because of her 50 years in music.
Gates open at 2 p.m. with showtime confirmed for 6 p.m. And finally, road users traveling in and around downtown Kingston this Friday should look out for traffic changes. This is to accommodate the state funeral for the late former Governor General Sir Howard Cook, which is to be held at the Holy Trinity Cathedral on George Headley Drive at 10 a.m. Interment will follow at the National Heroes Park. Between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., sections of South Camp Road and all roads leading on will be used exclusively for persons attending and leaving the funeral. Regular traffic will be diverted from the direction of Up Park Camp onto Marion Road and other roads leading to East Queen Street. Access to South Camp Road will also be restricted for those traveling from the direction of the sea, East Queen Street or Victoria Avenue. Meanwhile, only motorists attending the funeral will be allowed to use North Street between South Camp Road and Duke Street and all roads leading on. East Street between Charles Street and South Hero Circle, as well as Maraska Road between the North Hero Circle Connolly Avenue intersection and Duke Street at South Hero Circle will also be closed to vehicular traffic. However, provisions will be made for residents of Allman Town and Kingston Gardens to exit their communities by using Arnold Road, as well as to access Maraska Road from the east or north. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.